All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's I kind of wanted to do this in sort of pockets of, if you were part of this fan base, who would you be targeting? And I think the next one on the list for me is the Valkyries, picking at number 5, the first non-lottery pick, the first draft pick in their franchise history. So definitely a momentous thing just for them in general. But who's your franchise cornerstone? Are you going in that direction, right? Like, are you? Yeah. What's your approach to this if you're the Valkyries?
That's such a great question because I've spent an inordinate amount of time thinking about this because for me, I just think every time I've heard Joe Lacob speak about this team, they want to win. They want it to be like the Warriors. I just think about how they've operated. I'm interested to see how much leeway they give to build at first. I think you can still build and be competitive, obviously. To me, this is the place I want Dominique Malanga to go. And I think there's an aspect that comes up of, okay, well, you have to account for she might miss a season because of international play. And then the French Federation is nuts about actually letting their players come over. But I still think, Dominique is such a talented player. You're not getting another player at that level at 5th, in my opinion. But it's okay, what is the organizational mandate? How are you approaching this season? What does that look like? Because she's a player I want to bring over right away. There's going to be some stuff to still figure out with physicality. But I also think, again, similar to what we saw with Camila Cardoso last year, you have to account for the fact she's 6'6" and an incredible roller and somebody who just does things on the court you can't teach and you can't defend. So to me, that's what I would look at. If she doesn't if that's not in the cards, that's not, what they're looking at as a team. I would look really hard at Cheyenne Sellers out of Maryland. Mm-hmm. I love Cheyenne Sellers. My favorite fun fact is that she used to babysit my cousins, which is but I promise there's no bias included in this. Mm-hmm. They're only my second and third favorite cousins, so it's fine. But wait.
Let's see. What's a mock draft on your favorite cousins?
Oh no, I'm kidding. I love those cousins, but just had the couch to take a little bit. But Shy is again a player who, particularly again going back and watching stuff with her, she's gonna be so fit to be a pro. 6'2", can really handle the ball, has grown tremendously as a playmaker, had to really deal with some difficulty last year of a team that had high expectations, but also they struggle with injury. She had to take a lot on after, Diamond Miller, who was an incredible player for them, graduated and went to the W. And she, talking to her, she was point blank, I had to get uncomfortable taking 15 shots a game. I didn't want to take 15 shots a game. It wasn't comfortable for me to do that, but I had to grow in that and learn a lot about myself. And it was really cool. I'll have to, when we post this tomorrow, I'll have to post my pod episode with it. Cause it was really interesting hearing her perspective. Cause you don't always hear it in that aspect. Mm-hmm. But she's just a player who can score in every which way. She's incredible in isolation, can mismatch smaller guards, has a tight enough handle to play against smaller guards, can attack in the post. She had a ligament tear in her shooting hand last year. So if you're looking at shooting splits, she only took 1.5 per game from deep in Big Ten play because she just couldn't even shoot with her hand by the time they were that deep into the season. So that was I think she tore it her 6th game of the season and just played through it. So that'll be a thing to watch for her taking more of those shots this season, obviously. But again, just a guard wing that can really create and play efficiently from every area of the court. We need more of those players because she can really defend as well. She does a lot of things incredibly well. And again, we don't have a lot of great wing players in the W.
Yeah, she also seems like one of those players that we were talking about earlier where because of the program that she plays in, maybe WNBA scouts are higher on her than the general public. She spent, 4 years in Maryland, which also, by the way, just, pulled off an upset win. So, kudos to them. And, just wasn't necessarily on the national radar, but I do think that she definitely would have been if she was at one of those bigger schools, and we'd probably be talking about her a lot more. I like that as a pick for the Valkyries too, because I have no questions about her game translating. I don't think anybody else in the W is saying, wow, it would be so cool if the Liberty got more talent, but they have, because of a trade with the Mercury, I believe they're going to have the number 7 pick. And gosh, it feels like they are another team that Citron could be a possible target for them, but I'm curious what you think they should be doing.
It's just, I think it'll be interesting, especially to factoring in like who are they protecting in the draft. I was talking about this with somebody earlier today. I'm like, how do Liberty approach like protecting everybody and their team that they just won a title with in this? And so I think it'll be fascinating to see how they approach this. I think they'll have all the stars back. Like that would be my assumption. I'll be interested to see, like, I feel like part of the issue is like, what guard are you bringing in that's ready to come play in this situation right away? You know, like what guard can come in and be a contributor to a team that wants to win a title again. And I don't know if there is one here. Like, I don't know if there is one in this class other than, you know, at the top, if Olivia and Paige are there. And even then, like, I don't know about, like, I think Paige could play a role on it's just hard to be a rookie and contribute on a championship team is my point.
Unless you're Phoebich.
Yes. But also, again, like, yeah.
But 24, not really a rookie.
Yeah. Like the Van Wilder of rookies. But like, I think it's tough here. I honestly feel like if I'm the Liberty at 7, I would almost look at going overseas. Like there are players who I really like. Yeah, I really want a player who I really like. Her name's Annika Soltau. She currently plays for Guernica in the Spanish league from Germany. Reminds me a ton of like Alana Smith. 6'4", really long, awesome shot blocker. Is still growing in how she plays through contact, but like very smart with the ball in her hands. Like can make those reads as like kind of a trigger decision maker from the exterior. But again, in speaking the Alana Smith part, like somebody who really needs to like just continue to add to her frame, add muscle, like become somebody who like is more comfortable playing through pro physicality. But absolutely, like to me, a player who's a top 10 level talent in the draft. It's just like she's not ready to come over and play right away. But I think like part of what helped the Liberty get to where they're at is they've made smart decisions drafting overseas players and built up that cachet throughout the years. I know there's a tendency for some teams to not want to draft and stash players this high. I personally just think if a player is talented, you should pick them. Some people will scoff at that. I personally don't care. I think, again, like a player that I would be very interested in and think about heavily for them.